tractors. Okay, so tractors will be run this. The use of this cultivator save the labor time. Now actually this is a machine, and already we know machines are using for the saving our time, and a less time with a less effort we can do our work. So the same thing will be happen here. The cultivators driven by a tractor, and that is called the cultivators, and it's also doing the same thing like our plow. But plow is very time consuming, plow will take the more time. So we can use this kind of the techniques which is save our time and labor work also, right? So this is up to here we have seen all the techniques and what are the things we have to do which is helpful for preparation of soil. And the next thing we will start with the, so second thing we will start, the main important point is sowing the soil. So what is mean by sowing? Basically we have to sow the seeds into the soil. We have prepared already, we have prepared the soil. Now there is a time for sowing the seeds into the soil. So it is most important part of the crop production. Before sowing, a good quality of the seeds are selected. This is a very important point. This is, if you are not selecting a good kind of the seeds and you are going for all the processes, so it is not give you a desirable results. A good quality of the seeds and clean and healthy seed of a good variety should be selected by the farmers, and farmers prefer to use good seeds which give a high yield. Means whatever the things are required you are doing, everything is very well, but your seed is not of a good quality, so you will not get a good yield, and that is our desired thing will be not reached, our goal will be not reached. That is why we have to select a good quality of the seeds. So now what is mean by the selection of the seed? How you can select the seeds? So here is one question. One day I saw my mother, that is it's putting the grains and seeds into a vessels and pour some water on them. This is the traditional method. Before the people are using this kind of the things. If you take the water and if you put the seeds into that, so after a few minutes some seeds are start float on the top. So what is the reason for this? When you are putting the seeds into the water, so the bad quality of the seeds will be not sink into the water, and it will float on the surface of the water. Now there is one activity also. In this activity what you have to do, take a beaker and fill half of it with the water and put a handful of the wheat seeds and stir well and wait for some time. So what will happen when you are putting some seeds into the water, if and you are stirring it, so what are the good quality of the seeds will having the more weight, so it will go and sink into the bottom. But the seeds which are eaten by the insects, so that is hollow from insides and it is lightweight, so that will float onto the surface of the water. So that is why, and that is the reason you can find out that this quality is not good, and in whatever the seeds are floating onto the water, that quality and that much of the amount in the seeds are not good. So this is the technique you can be used while you are selecting the seeds. So are there seeds float on a water? So if you saw the seeds are floating onto the water, that means the seeds are not of the good quality. So would those be lighter or heavier than those which sink, and why would they be lighter? So this is the reason why they becoming lighter, because some insects are there which can be eat the material or food that is present into the seed. So now seeds are hollow from inside, so it will become lighter and it will float onto the surface of the water. That is a damaged seeds, that is not good quality of the seeds, and whatever the seeds are going and sink into the water, that is a good kind of the seeds. So this is a good method for separating the good and healthy seeds from the damaged ones. Okay, this method you can be used when you want to separate the good quality of the seed from the damage. So before sowing, one of the important tasks is to know about the tools used for the sowing the seeds. Now we cannot do this by hand because we have to do so many area we have to cover, so we have to use such kind of the techniques to sow the seeds. So now this is the traditional tool that is used for the sowing of the seeds. So it is basically having a funnel shape structure, and that is having some kind of the field farmers are filling the seeds into this funnel shape, and that is they are having the three pipes that are having the sharp ends, and these ends are pushed into the soil and place seeds in there. If you see this picture, you can be having a more idea. This already I think we have seen this kind of the instrument when we visit our fields. So this is actually a funnel shape structure from here the farmers can be put the seeds into that, and it is having a like these pipes are there, hollow pipes that are going into the soil, and when the farmers are moving this kind of the instrument with the bull, and they are putting the seeds continuously, so it is going inside the soil. So that is a technique which can be used for the sowing of the seeds, but this is the traditional techniques. Now people are not using this kind of the techniques, because why we are not using that kind of the things? Because it will take the more times, it will take more labor work, and we cannot grow more and more seeds if we are using this kind of the traditional things. So what are the modern techniques? So this is the picture of the seed drill. So seed drill is a modern techniques or modern machine, you can also say, that are used for the sowing of the seeds into the soil. With it is also having a different kind of the, means you can say, pipe like structure, and you can put the seeds from this upper side, and it will be sow the seeds into the soil. But what are the advantage of the seed drills? Why the people are using this seed drill nowadays? Because it is it can be run with the tractor, so it will time consuming, it is saving your time, and with the help of the tractor you can use this. And this tools is used for the sowing the seeds uniformly at a proper distance and the depth. That is very important things we have to keep in your mind, that is we have to sow the seeds on a uniformly at a proper distance. If you are not maintaining the distance, and if you are putting a more number of the seed in a one place, so it will make the overcrowding of the seeds, and the problem for what will happen, the more plants will be grown on one place, and they are just fighting, and they are just competing for the requirements like water, like for air, for nutrients, for sun. So that is why the basic or very important thing, you have to maintain the distance in each and every seeds. So it is ensured that the seeds get covered by the soil after sowing, and this is also very important to cover the soil after putting the seeds into the soil, because some kind of the birds are there, so it is also preventing that seeds can be used by the birds, and that is also a good thing which is used by the seed drill. And sowing by using the seed drill save the time and labor. That is a very good thing, because in the less time we can do more and more work. Here is one more question. There is a nursery. This one is found some nursery near his school, and he found a little plants were kept in a small bags. And what is that? Sometimes we are also find some kind of the nurseries, and they are having a little seedling, that is actually called the seedling, that are the small plants. And why they are doing this kind of the thing? So this is the answer. The seeds of a few plants such as paddy are first grown into the nursery. Paddy, the rice plant, and some other plant also, they are first of all they are growing into some nursery, and when they grow into the plantlets, that is a small plant, and they are transplant in the field manually. And means what is the reason is, some plants they are growing into the nurseries, and when it is grow into the smaller plant, that is called seedling, they are just manually they are transferring into some other places. Some forest plants are also, and some flowering plants also grown like in the nursery. So this is, they can be care more about their seeds after germinating the seeds. They are giving the desirable all the things what are required for the germination of the seeds. After the germination, when the small plants will be grow, they will transfer these small seedlings into some other places. That is called the nursery, and they are having the small plants. An appropriate distance between the seeds is important to avoid the overcrowding, that already I have discussed to you right now. The overcrowding means the competing, the seeds or the plants are competing for the food and water. So that is why we have to maintain the distance into the seeds while you're sowing into the soil, and this allow the plant to get. And what are the advantages? Right, sufficient sunlight. If we are growing the seeds into the proper distance, so all the plants can get the sufficient sunlight, nutrients and water from the soil. And sometimes a few plants have to be removed to prevent overcrowding. Sometimes we are having the more plants into the one place, so what we have to do means lastly we have to remove some plants from the same place, so that will be the solution of that. So before, to avoid that kind of the thing, we have to just sow the seeds on a proper distance. Now the next thing is adding manure and fertilizer. This is also one of the important things. We have to add the manures and fertilizers And why there is a need of use this manure and fertilizer? Because we have already seen the substances. What is the manure and fertilizer actually? These are such kind of the substances that are added into the soil to form the nutrients for the healthy growth of the plant are called the manure and fertilizers. This is actually the additional supplements and additional supplements we are giving for the plant if the soil is having lack of nutrients that are required by the plants. So we are giving from outside in the form of manure and fertilizers. So that is called the manure and fertilizers, that is giving extra nutrients for the plants. Now there is one more question is here. Okay, he saw the healthy crops growing in a farms, and the neighboring farming means basically the person have seen such kind of the plants. So some plants are growing very well, they are growing in a good height, they having a good kind of the fruits and whatever the seeds are there, but some plants are not growing properly. So what is the reason for that? What are the reason that some plants can be grow properly and some cannot be grow the properly? So soil supply the minerals and nutrients to the crop. Everybody know whatever the nutrients and minerals needed by the plants, that is taken by the crop only. So these nutrients are essential for the growth of the plant. In certain area the farmers grow the crop in the same field continuously. Means if we saw some farmers, because they want to grow, they want more and more grains and crops, so they are not giving time for relaxation of the field or for soil. So they are continuously one batch after one batch they are growing the plants in the same field. So what will happen, they will remove, every plant will be take the nutrients from the soil, so there is a deficiency of the nutrients will be happen over there. So the plant will not get the proper amount of the nutrients from the soil, so they will not grow properly. That is why we have to give some additional nutrients in the form of manure and fertilizers to fulfill the requirement of the nutrients of our plants. So that is why we have to use this kind of the things. So continuous growing of the crops make the soil poor, and certain nutrients are not in a proper amount over there, therefore we have to use this kind of the manures. So this process is called the manuring. When you are using the manures, you are providing the manures, and it is called the manuring. Improper or insufficient manuring result in a weak plant. If the soil is not having the required amount of the nutrients, and if you are not providing a proper amount of the manure, so it will result in your crop will be not grow properly, and you will having the low yield from your crops. So manure, what is the manure actually? It's the organic substances obtained from a decomposition of a plant or animal waste. Always we are looking in our field, the farmers are collecting the cow dung and some remaining food from your animals. So whatever the plant and animal waste, the farmers are collecting into one place in the pits, that is called the pits at open places, and allow to decompose. When we are allowing this all the material and we are giving the time, so it will, bacteria will be grow over there, and they will decompose to that all the things, and the decomposition is caused by some microorganism. So after decompose, it will having the organic manure, that is a natural fertilizer, you can also say. So we are having the organic manure, and you have already learn about vermicomposting in your last class in 6th. Vermicompost, we are adding the worms into that same things in cow dung and all plant remaining materials, so it will give you one kind of the manure. So manure basically we are using for the our crop, and that is providing the more and more nutrients for your plants, right? And if you are not using that kind of the manures, you will having the deficiency in the plant, your plant will be not grow properly, and that is the reason. Now we will having one activity over there, so it will require little bit more time to discuss this activity. So this activity will be start in we will take in our next lecture, and until that I request all of you just go through whatever we have learned in this lecture. What is the techniques we have already started, how to prepare the soil, and how to sow the seed into the soil, that is, and what are the techniques and what are the instrument we are using into that. You just write down what are the important points we have discussed here, and you can also write as a homework what are the 7 major things we have discussed, techniques we have discussed, in your homework, and whatever the next activity will start in our next lecture. So see you in the next lecture. Take care.